Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Tackle Talks. Today we will be covering the Lipless Crankbaits.
Kind of a continuation from the crankbait video before.
Hopefully they don't spill out. I'll show you guys here. So I don't have a whole lot of them. They're going to dump out. There's a few in there. I've lost a few here recently that I need to replace. But we are currently not fishing, so I shouldn't lose any.
No, we're not fishing right now. We got
-5 degrees this morning. Non-wind chill. So
definitely not doing a little fishing. I don't think anytime this week or the following week.
Probably not. It'll probably be end of February by the time it gets warm enough that we can fish and start getting consistent about it.
But no, like you said, today we're gonna be talking about lipless crankbaits.
Let's say well, you don't really have everybody else. Okay. We're going to save this one for last because I'm sure you guys all know about it. That's primarily the one we'll try.
There's not really a whole lot you can say about the different varieties about lipless crankbaits. Because
there's some.
Well, I mean, there's primarily two main, I would say, shapes.
Yeah.
There's two main shapes, and you can get them rattling. You can get the 2-knock. You can get silent. And I've got a little bit of both. So I guess you can start out by, going with the red-eye shad. It's a popular one. Or the Bill Lewis. Either one.
Well, let's talk about this one first. This, for you guys that may not know, this is the original rattle trap shape. It's the Bill Lewis.
Both just happen to have one in the same color.
Well, that's because it's the only color we throw. The funny story about this bait is I actually snagged line in our local lake, pulled in the line. We really try to clean up the lake, especially since we kayak there. Try to clean up all the stumps and stuff. But I pulled in all the line and it ended up popping off, and there was a almost brand new lipless crank on the end of it. And I'd never really thrown Bill Lewis's a whole lot. I generally throw the red-eye shads and stuff, but I ended up taking it, and I think a couple days after, I ended up having probably one of my best 5 ever at this lake on the same lure that I pulled out of the lake. I think I ended up having like 12.5 pounds or something like that, and for us in Ohio, that's
really good.
That's good. I mean, we're fishing a 25-acre lake, basically. It's basically a giant pond, is what it is.
It gets fished all day, every day.
Yeah.
Constant pressure.
If you don't see 20 people out there, there's probably a reason for it.
There's been times, especially during the summer, you go in the evening, everybody gets off work, and it's hard to find a spot to even get in.
Which is nice while we have our kayaks, because we can go out and sit in the middle where nobody else can and still catch fish. We both now have deeper fish finders, so we're planning on trying to map out the middle as best we can so that we, understand where there's some humps or there's, we know where there's one stump line, but try to get a, good idea of exactly where it's at and stuff. But yeah, so we primarily throw a chrome blueback in the Bill Lewis's. I have a few of those.
Those are really good on sunny days.
And then I have one of the smaller ones. This actually came in mystery tackle box as well. It's like a bleeding bass kind of pattern. It's got red hooks on it. And you'll notice that I also rubber band these. It saves a lot of time. I guess some of the other ones I have are some of the
that's a nice color.
Miscellaneous ones. You got stuff like, these right here. These are Janko lipless crankbaits. These both came in mystery tackle box. You got like a bluegill, and I think this is like a citrus chartreuse shad or Caribbean shad, one of those patterns. Then of course you have your.
You also got a Spro. Kind of an odd shape for me personally, off my personal preference, but it's got that same color pattern as that Bill Lewis. The chrome sides with the blue back. Haven't really thrown it a lot, but I would assume it probably does just as good with the color.
Another
I would hope.
Another one that I haven't really thrown too much is this. This is a live target. I believe it's in color mullet, which is kind of odd for us because we're not really anywhere near an ocean. But it represents a gizzard shad pretty well, a small one. We don't really have any gizzard shads this small. We have a lot of thread fins that are around this size. Most of our gizzard shads are almost 2 pounds, I think, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. We've got some really big gizzards, and I think that's why we've started noticing a increase in the size of the bass in our lakes.
And if you guys really don't believe us, I'll pop a picture up here of one of the gizzard shads that we put here. It was early this year, wasn't it?
It was early, yeah.
It was early in the spring. The gizzard shad, like you said, is about 2 and a quarter.
I had a day towards the middle of November where there's a cut in the back of the lake, and it kind of funnels down. And I was throwing a lipless crankbait, and 3 casts in a row. There were so many of them that I ended up snagging three of them in a row. Not on purpose, obviously, but there was just that many that when I was yo-yoing my brow trap out there, it was just catching the sides of them and stuff. And they definitely get big out in our lake, and that's part of the reason why I'm trying to get into the big swim baits and bigger baits. You know, your 8-inch glides, your 8-inch HUDs, because we have the bait that matches that. So I'm thinking that our bigger bass might actually start feeding primarily only on the gizzards.
There's been a couple older guys out there that have fished the lake a number of years, way longer than we've probably been alive, who have, who caught 6-7 pounders out of this lake. So as far as we know, they're still out there. So we're just out
it's
there
yet to be seen. We had 2 fish last year that come out of the lake that were right at 5 pounds. I had 3 that were over 4, and then did you have one that was over 4 out of there?
Not out of that pond.
Not out of there. And then I think we had probably close to 2 or 3 dozen that were over 3 pounds out of there. We don't get a lot of big ones, but our average fish during the summer is probably 15 inches long. We don't really get a whole lot of little ones.
Not really.
You got quite the tangle over there, bud.
Actually, I just set it up, maybe just kind of show off all the different colors. But my personal preference on
I agree with you.
Lipless Cranks is the Red Eye Shad by Strike King. I absolutely love them. I just kind of put all these together. It kind of shows the different colors I've got. If I could just throw one, this would definitely be the one to throw. I throw the 1/2 ounce.
The medium size. They come in a smaller size. Here's the smallest size on the bottom right here. I'll hold it by the hook so you guys can see the color. There's the smallest size right there, and then this is the medium size, and then there's also in some colors a 3/4 size.
Which is this? This is the 1 ounce.
I don't think it's an ounce.
No, that's
I think it's
3/4.
3/4.
That's 3/4. So that's the biggest one they make compared to the smallest one and stuff. But
I think part of the reason why we like them so much is the fact that they're so easy to find, and the fact that they're not very expensive. So like, one of the problems we have with our local lake is years ago they decided to put concrete drain tubes in the middle of the lake and all around the lake for fish habitat, which is good and all, but
you don't know where they're at.
Yeah,
they become a big problem.
They didn't put them all out of casting range, and I can't tell you how many baits we've lost on them.
I lost a decent amount of baits.
Because the problem isn't that we don't know where they're at. We know where they're at.
It's just so much.
But other people don't know where they're at, and we hang up on the fishing line that's on those. So what I'm planning on doing this year is I'm going to buy a really big magnet that you see like people use for magnet fishing, and I'm going to try to pull off the baits that are originally there and see if I can't get all of that line off of there. And so you guys may see an episode or 2 of those where I'm just out there cleaning up the lake. I do that quite a bit actually. Primarily we like to look for lures, obviously, see what other people are using, losing out there and stuff.
Anytime we see massive amounts of line,
fishing line floating in the water and stuff, we pull out as much as we can. I would say we probably took out
a couple thousand yards.
Oh, probably more than that. We probably took out, I don't know, 5,000 yards maybe of line this year, and we're really trying to help clean up the lake and stuff.
Especially since it's the closest one, and we basically know a lot about it. But with these red eye shads, they come in, I believe it's 3 different varieties overall, or 4: knocker, tungsten, silent, and regular.
What's the knocker one? I don't know that one.
The 2 knocker.
Oh, that's a 2-tap. It's the same thing as a tungsten.
Okay. So basically, there's 3 sizes or 3 different kinds. The 2-tap, which is the tungsten weighted one. You got your regular, and then you got silent. So the one I got here, it's just a bluegill pattern, and it's got the normal rattles in it. And then I got one over here in the sexy shad. That's quiet. So the fish aren't always going to bite whenever you're making a whole bunch of noise. So this subtle vibration.
With all the pressure we deal with, having a silent bait a lot of times can actually benefit you. And the reason we like throwing the Bill Lewis as opposed to the red eye sometimes is if you notice, this is the sound of the red eye, and then this is the sound of the Bill Lewis. It's a much higher pitch, and not a lot of people throw it as much as they used to, and so the bass are getting more used to the red eyes now and not the Bill Lewis's, which is why I think that we started catching so many more and bigger fish on the Bill Lewis.
Going back to the red eyes real quick, this color right here, the skull with the black back, it's a really, really good late fall color. I would say that, or not
this color. This color right here, it's hard to tell.
Chartreuse.
So this is a normal sexy shad, as you can see. This is a sexy shad chartreuse. It's got more yellow in it in the top of the bait. And this color right here, when we were doing our yo-yoing in the fall, was just above and beyond. Because the problem was we were getting a lot of rain in the fall. And that was supposed to be snow, but it was in the 50s, so it was all rain, and it got real muddy. This color right here for us absolutely killed it.
It gave it just enough color for it to stand out.
I actually made him mad I think it was the last day that we were throwing lipless crankbaits.
Lord.
We had been out there tearing them up. Was it a morning or was it an afternoon?
I think we went 3 mornings in a row. And
we were
I
out
went back one afternoon, but I didn't
Yeah,
go.
we were out there one morning, and it's called the fishing pier, and it's a big wooden dock. Basically, everybody bluegill fishes off of it, but we were out there and it was cold. I think it was in the 30s that morning. It was like one cold spell, and
I had ice on my reel this morning.
I think we were the only people out there, and we were on the end of the fishing pier, and we'd already caught I think 15 or so that day, and we were casting out, and I got this hung up on a stump out there. There's a big stump line that follows the trees all the way around.
Was it in that color or was it in the black and gold?
I'm pretty sure it was in this color.
Because I knew these were the 2 primary colors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this color. And as I was getting it off, he was mad because he was trying to catch up to me that day. And as I was popping it off, as it popped backwards and came out of the log, one ended up sucking it in, and I ended up catching another one. Just final dagger.
Needless to say, it was like the final nail in the coffin for me. That basically ended our morning. But, I mean, it's all in good fun, so. Oh well.
All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this tackle talk. This is the second one. This was over Lipless Crankbaits. We got a few more here. We're gonna probably knock out tonight, and then you guys should see them
here
every other day or
every other day, probably.
Keep an eye out for them.
Other than that, like in the last video, if you guys have any questions, just ask us down in the comments below. We will get back to you whenever we can.
I love talking fishing, so if somebody wants to talk fishing down there, just start commenting.
Go to him. Go to him, definitely. So, like I said, we're just going to continue this, cover as many different baits as we can. I'd say our next one might be jigs.
Yeah,
it's a good place to go.
Might be jigs or jerk baits.
Might be
one of those two.
It's a good place to go. But like I said, we're going to cover it all. So, just watch out for them.
I think eventually we might end up getting into some soft plastics and stuff.
Soft plastic, that's a whole nother, that might be a whole nother series right there.
That would be a couple series in itself.
I think
mainly because it's my fault. I have too many.
You got boxes on boxes of soft plastics. But other than that, guys, I think that's all we got for you on this Tackle Talk. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Two fingers.
Two fingers.